Up, you crazy sickos. KingCobraJFS here, back at it with another video. And there's a video that the Isaac Butterfield did. If you don't know who he is, he's an Australian comedian. And some of his material is considered slightly offensive.
It wasn't the countless others who had their lives changed forever because their family members were taken from them. It was the hundreds of people that night who couldn't make it home from nightclubs in Christchurch because all the cabbies were dead.
He's been called transphobic, fatphobic, etc. And I'm like, I have a theory on that. Now, growing up when Isaac Butterfield was a boy in primary school, he was a bit overweight and he got bullied for it. Nobody told him to love your body and it's okay and you're healthy at any size. Well, you're not healthy at any size, but who gives a fuck if you're fat? That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, humans should have the right to fucking eat like crap and not care what anyone thinks. Now, I think, like, I don't know if Butterfield misses the whole body positivity movement thing, because it's like, you know, we as a society are narcissistic, and we're told we have to look a certain way, and it's disgusting. Excuse me. We're not here to talk about that. A transphobe who's transgender, that is fucking hilarious. You never hear people minging on about that, do you? Well, let's have a go at it, shall we? I might have to grab another one out after this. The Omen. Ooh. A scary satanic movie, yes. A scary satanic movie. I will take your soul. The Omen. In theaters soon enough. This movie looks funny. So apparently trans women want to get a uterus transplant. And let me tell you something about that. Medically speaking, that's not a good idea because men, our bodies are not designed to have uteruses. You can actually get cancer from that. Just so you can get pregnant, have your period, live the whole female life, blah, 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 but then you have to immediately take it out as soon as you give birth. So it's like, ouch. But I digress. What's contradicting is, you know, I've heard women complain about their periods. They go, oh God, I'm cramping. PMS, pissed off, Minge syndrome. And it's like, dudes ought to be grateful that they don't have to deal with periods. And it's like, okay, you want to look like a female? Fine. We'll call you a female because it's the polite thing to do, but you're basically a female who can't breastfeed or have periods or have kids. So there you go, there's that.
Like a healthy fat person or an attractive lesbian. Two terms that just don't go together. I'm talking about the...
I don't know what kind of lesbians you're looking at.
Like lesbians, like not the ones on the internet, okay? But here's my new favorite oxymoron. A transphobic trans person. Yeah. May I introduce you to, this is this person's word, not my word, the offensive...
You know what fucking kills me about this whole transphobic thing is if a trans person says it, you're not allowed to question it or argue with them, otherwise you're automatically transphobic, blah, 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 blah. When you say crap like this, J.K. Rowling has been attacked numerous times for being transphobic, and I'm like, oh, the libtard left loves to use that word. It's like their favorite go-to word. Like when women are so triggered by a man, they're going to call you a sexist. Let's grab ourselves a tall can. As long as you're not a sicko, I don't give a shit what you do. I really don't. What you do between you and the other person is none of my business. As long as you're two consenting, of age, alive, non-related adults who are both human, I don't give a shit. Fuck sickos.
So I just found out that I made the thumbnail of a transphobic trans person's YouTube video.
I'm sorry to interrupt this video.
A transphobic trans person. That's like a vegan who eats meat. Camo, Silver Ash, 24 high gravity lager, 4 X's. This is about 10.6 on the alcohol by volume scale. This is a good beer. I like it, but it's an acquired taste. And the beer you wanks.
That giant horn in the middle of your nose makes me question who you are as a human being, but also, that's cultural appropriation, is it?
Oh, so now you're going to show an example of a tribal person with the same similar piercing in their nose? Cultural appropriation, my ass. If white people wear, like, dreads and shits, it's called cultural box springs, whatever, in their hair. It's called cultural appropriation. But if, like, everyone else outside of white people copies what white people do, it's not seen as cultural appropriation. We're just told to get over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're never going to see, like, a black person getting crap for having a buzzed haircut, and then some, like, neo-Nazi dirtbag being like, hey, that's cultural appropriation of my white brethren. Fuck off. You'd be like, you can't have that hairdo. You'd be like, cracker, what hair? My head's buzzed. Fuck off. Imagine the look on Rosa Parks' face, too, and it's like, oh, child. The worst you have to worry about is cultural appropriation. Like, and, you know, police brutality is a real thing. And it's never talked about when a black cop does this crap to white people, but when a white cop hurts a black person, it's all over the fucking news. If some white person were a victim of police brutality at the hands of a black cop, you wouldn't be allowed to talk about it, would you? No, because then they'd call you a fucking racist. It doesn't fit the stereotypical narrative, does it? Piss off. And that the issue isn't just race-related, that it's also, you know, there are some corrupt cops out there, and it's sad. It's really fucking sad. You know? Excuse me. Pack me a dip. Oh, yeah. Moist snuff. 1 second, I'll pack a dip. Time to PDS. Pack, dip, and spit. Outlaw! What's cracking, mother truckers? Oh, that's the one. Did you hear about the surfer who chews tobacco? He was like, "Chaw, bro."
What? You're wearing exactly what this gentleman is wearing, and how dare you? You're not part of the same culture. That's shameful, disgusting. You should be cancelled. Anyway, before we go any further...
Smart ass, says the guy who tells the most offensive jokes ever.
It's a great video. Stick around. This video is brought to you by the great people at Fume. Now, cold turkey is good on your sandwiches, ladies and gentlemen, but you know what? It's not good.
Fume, when you're too much of a pussy to vape or smoke cigarettes.
Break a bad habit. So instead of a drastic change, remove the bad.
Busting balls, of course, but you know, there was a market for fume. So Butterfield's got a sponsorship with fume. Breaking your bad habits and all that sort of bullshit.
.com/Butterfield.
So you can go to tryfume.com/Butterfield and use the code Butterfield for 10% off your next order.
Funny thing is that the video that I'm gonna misgender her because she misgendered me. Don't worry.
Oh, wow. Now you got two trans people fighting with each other. This is adorable. Well, I'm going to misgender them because oh, aren't she just adorable?
And unfortunately, a lot of them are too scared to speak out. And I think throughout this video, we'll find out why.
Oh, whoa, wait, what? You're afraid to speak out because you might get attacked? Welcome to how the rest of us fucking feel, dude. Be like, oh, hey, you can't identify as a plant because you're a human being. Oh, yeah, well, you're a speciesist.
The community fucking comes after him hard, and not in a good way. So go ahead.
Oh, kind of like Daphne, you know, Dave Chappelle's friend, who committed suicide because she thought Dave Chappelle was funny. Yeah. These people are literally, the extremes of these people are the worst. They have the thinnest fucking skin. So basically you have a woman here who identifies as he/him, and then the person she's fighting with is a dude who identifies as a her. Right.
I'm serious. Being transgender makes you delusional because I'm convinced that I pass right now, but I know that I don't.
I low-key respect this because she's aware of the truth, and she's right. A lot of transgender people are delusional, and that's also one of the reasons why I don't call myself a transgender person, but I like to call myself a transsexual.
Stop! Well, you're right. You are delusional. I mean, he said it. I mean, she said it. Can we acknowledge that there's a difference between gender and sex? If you're transsexual, then you're into people who are transsexually. If you're transgender, then your gender means you're trans. Can we acknowledge that there's a difference between gender and sex? Thank you. Gender and sex are completely different. Sex is when you fuck what you're sexually attracted to. Gender is boy, girl, somewhere in between. Whatever.
Back for another Flounder sandwich?
And a shrimp tackle box.
Let us do the fishing while y'all enjoy seafood that you'll love. Get them before they're gone.
Well, here's the thing of it. You don't like what people have to say. And if you're confident with who you are and your pronouns, you will not let people get to you. If you are confident with who you are as a person and you're confident with your pronouns and what have you, do not let the bigots and the hypocrites around you bother you for this crap.
You're also labelled as homophobic and transphobic at the same time, when maybe you're just thinking for yourself. Like, well, are we not allowed to do?
No, that's the thing of it. We're not allowed to think for ourselves and have our own opinions unless you're trans or gay. The society tells us how to think, and it's disgusting.
I mean, look at Blair White or Buck Angel. They are people who have been excommunicated in many different circumstances because of their opinions on certain subjects.
No, the only reason why Blair White's been excommunicated is because she actually looks like a female. There are some dudes who can pull it off and some dudes who can't. And like when you see Blair White, you see a woman. You don't see a dude trying to be a chick.
If you say you're a man, then you're a man. If you say you're a woman, then you're a woman. And if you lived 30 years as a woman or as a man and now are the opposite gender, then you've always been that gender, even when you had babies or produced sperm or whatever. That's madness. But that is religious doctrine. You have to believe it without a question. It's faith. And if you disagree with that, not only are you the enemy, but you are apparently killing trans people. However, I have always had a sneak.
Yeah, unless they're actually committing murder, how is it? Oh my God, dude.
This person's opinion does not matter to me.
Obviously. Of course you're so confident and at peace with yourself.
Yeah, if that person's opinion didn't matter to you, then you wouldn't be so fucking triggered into making a video. You know what I'm saying? Like, come off it.
You are pandering to the people who want us dead.
I don't want to sound like a 50.
No, she is not. The people who want people like that dead are disgusting assholes. I tend to think that if you want a trans person dead, you are either secretly gay or trans, and you can't handle that they're just not afraid to be themselves, or you're a fucking asshole, or both. So how do you like that? You got a fucking internet fight with two trans people calling each other transphobic. Like, they're not even safe in their own community without being attacked. That's got to be rough. And that's what pisses me off about the whole trans movement, is when they say gender does not exist, but you have to respect their gender, otherwise you're a transphobe. Durr. If gender does not exist, then why am I being forced to acknowledge your gender? You just got done saying it. And I'm not trying to be any sort of phobe. I'm just asking questions. You're being called a transphobe for not respecting their gender, but in the same aspect, you got people saying that gender does not exist. You know, it's like somebody who wants to make up the rules to their own game so they can come out the winner every time. That's what it is. And at what point did we decide as a society that... This is where I find the whole argument seriously annoying, is this idea that, you know, boys wear pants, girls wear skirts, kind of thing. This idea that fabric, the clothing that we wear, is gender neutralized in our society to the point where it's like, if a dude wears drag or female clothing or makeup in today's society, people automatically go, oh my God, are you trans? Are you gay? Oh, what's your story? What's your pronouns? Oh my God, stop it. Back in the day, and I hate to bring it up, but when Ozzy Osbourne would dress up in drag and do silly things, nobody thought twice about it. They're like, it's just Ozzy being silly. But these days, it's a different story. Back in the day, Ozzy Osbourne could dress up in drag, and nobody thought twice about it. It's just Ozzy being his goofy self, you know. And truth be told, there are some dudes who just like to wear chicks' clothing. It doesn't make them gay. It doesn't make them trans or whatever. There are just some dudes who are like that. Like, the fuck? And then they want to sit there and get mad and go, hey, quit assuming our pronouns.
Also, just a reminder that not every trans person has access to HRT, so not everyone is able to pass.
And who cares if you're passable? Okay, who gives a shit if you're passable as the gender you prefer to be? Because you gotta have confidence in yourself. As long as you think you look good, that's all that matters. And yeah, you're gonna see some dudes who transition, and it's clearly a dude trying to be a chick, and nobody's buying it, but you're still gonna be polite and go, how you doing today, ma'am? Or then you get these assholes who identify as trans, and then they're also non-binary, and it's like, how does that work? Because if you're transgender, you identify as the opposite gender, but if you're non-binary, you don't have a fucking gender.
But it's very true. There is a very popular social trend, and people don't want to talk about this, about young people becoming trans. It is becoming more.
That's the thing of it. That is the thank you. It's not very trendy to be trans. It's all over. It's everywhere. It's like there's one thing to teach acceptance. It's another thing to force it down our throats like an unwanted rainbow dick. It's become very trendy to be trans, and like the rabbit hole in which this exists is, oh boy, the disaster with Doritos will be the perfect example of, Ron White, the comedian, said it best, things that make you go, ugh. Like these people who identify as trans disabled. Yeah, or transracial. You want to talk about cultural appropriation? Holy crap, you got a white dude who believes that they're black. So they throw the word trans behind it and you have to automatically accept it, otherwise you're transphobic. It's like, what in the actual fuck? These people who pretend to be in wheelchairs because they identify as trans disabled, and then they voluntarily get a surgery to make it so they have to use that wheelchair the rest of their fucking life, knowing that there are people out there who were born like that who wish they could walk. It's like, where do we draw the line here, dude? It is sad because I am not even a part of this community, and I have received death threats. People have told me to kill myself. People have sent me and my family death and rape threats. And it's ridiculous. People on the internet who are so lost in themselves, who are afraid to be themselves, when they see somebody who is not afraid to be themselves, and it triggers them so much. Yeah, that's what kills me about it. The whole thing is these trans people are like, we're sick and tired of the hate. Even within their own group is also full of so much fucking hatred. So much fucking hatred. If you're being a straight up cunt about it and you're just straight up hating that person because they're trans or whatever, then you're a piece of shit. But like, at the same time, if you don't align with their thinking, they get triggered. Like, how dare you disagree with me? And it's like, newsflash, dickhead, it's called having an opinion. And I would know because people love to insert their opinions about Cobra. They do. And it's just like, oh my fucking God, well, that's how you feel. Good for you. Like, Cobra, your videos suck. Okay, if you think my videos suck, why do you watch them? You better not go live, Cobra. It's like, I'll go live if I want to. No one's forcing you to watch, okay?
I am going on a world tour in 2024.
With this comedy.
If you are in the US, the UK.
The UK, there's good old Big Ben. Such a pretty clock tower Big Ben is. Good old Big Ben. I personally, like I said, I don't give a shit what you do as long as you ain't a sicko or an inhuman piece of shit. I could give a fuck. You want to call yourself trans this or trans that, whatever. That's your life. But to a point, there's a line we got to draw on the sands. People who identify as sickos, or who identify as disabled when they're not disabled, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, yeah. Like, I'm 80% British. I can't go off and be like, you see someone doing a stereotypical British accent, I can't just scream at them like, hey man, I'm 80% British, so like, that's cultural appropriation. Or like when I heard this one YouTuber make a racial stereotype about British people, I was just like, fuck off. And that's just it. You know why they don't care about that? Because 90% of British people or 85% of British people are all white. That's the only reason they don't care or scream about cultural appropriation or like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's only racist when white people do it. It's only transphobic when cis people do it kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, so it's only sexist when men do it. Gotcha. And I'm not here to pick on anyone for being trans, you know what I'm saying? This is just my opinion. And it's pretty fucking sad when you have people in your own community turn against you. It really is. You know, like, oh, well, you're not trans enough. Well, you're not trans enough. You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole argument is. And it's so fucking bloody stupid. You all are a part of the same rainbow, so why can't you all just get along? You gotta deal with all these negative fucking homophobic, transphobic asswipes on the outside. Then you gotta deal with the snarky hypocrisy on the inside. That's gotta be fucking miserable. Or like when you dress goth and your fellow goths are like, oh, well, you're not goth enough. You're such a fucking poser. Only real goths listen to, Like, you're not goth enough because you don't wear the same brand of black nail polish that I wear. Jeez. And then you look at the outside world going, oh my God, you're goth. Oh, you're just going through a phase. Are you trying to piss off your parents? Oh, like, oh, you're goth and you listen to Cradle of Filth. You're such a mallcore poser. Okay, well, what band do you listen to? Oh, you listen to a band that only you and like 10 other people have ever heard of. Oh, so edgy, let me tell you. And that's just it. People say that you're goth or you dress a certain way. They automatically assume everything else. What are you, gay? What are you, trans? What are you, this and that? It's like, no, dipshit. I've been bullied for being goth my entire life, and ever since I've done it, and quite frankly, I don't give a shit. That is your opinion. And then you want to assume my pronouns on top of it, you're also a part of the problem. Even cisgendered people like myself get bullied. We're just doing our thing, you know? I get bullied for hating sickos. It's disgusting. And do I let it change who I am as a person? Obviously not. I watched this video before going to bed, and I was just like, I can't believe this crap. This is hilarious. Two trans people fighting with each other. How can somebody be transphobic if they're trans? That doesn't, like, self-hating trans? How is that a thing? That's like saying you're vegan, but you also eat meat.